Every time I feel like I've understood chess or something about chess, there's this guy who keeps on trying to expand my understanding of chess, and that is none other than the man up here, Vishy Anand. Well, Vishy Anand is playing at the Tata Steel Chess India tournament, and in a field that has Arjun Erigaisi, Pragnananda, Vidit, Nihal, Aravindh, Wesley So, Hans Niemann, Volodar Murzin, all these amazing players that way he's actually leading the tournament. And how does he do that is the big question. And I want to actually take you through these games to kind of understand how is Vishy able to play so well. So we're going to look at all his games from day two. He played 3 games on day two. He was 2.5 out of 3 on day one. At the completion, he was leading jointly with Hans Niemann. And on the second day, he starts off against Arjun Erigaisi. And Vishy plays the Rui Lopez, and you know, his opening choices are so solid that it's very difficult to do something against it, right? He's very well prepped up. So here the d5 square is a bit weak. So Vishy goes bishop g5. He wants to take out the knight on f6, and he does it. Takes, knight comes in, c4 by Arjun, takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, and we reach a position here. By the way, you can't take with the queen because d6 is hanging, so takes with the pawn. And now comes a very, very interesting moment where black has kingside weaknesses here, especially the f5 square, but on the other hand has pressure down here. At some point can engineer f5 and get central majority. It's not at all easy to play here, and you can see Vishy immediately gets rid of the weakness. Takes. Rook g8. Arjun says, well, what weakness of king? I'm using the open g file to my benefit. Rook e1. Knight comes back, and already black is slightly taking over after f5. You can see the rook is attacked here. Rook c1. And these central pawns, although right now are weak, can become very dangerous. Anand plays knight d2. He loves knights. So he's coming here to c4, and I think rook d4 would have been nice, but queen b7, threatening mate here. Rook g3. And now queen h5, a very nice move attacking the queen. So very sharp. Vishy here, bishop g6, queen g5 now, defending the knight. King comes up, h3. And now all of a sudden, in this very normal position, Arjun plays rook d1, a decent move, and Anand plays king h2. And guess what he does now? Absolutely huge blunder by Arjun Erigaisi. And Arjun, I think he was thinking to himself, if queen b3, I'll take queen b3, rook b3, rook c1, I'm completely winning. But he completely missed. Rook takes d1. And now calculate, if rook e3, I have rook d5. If queen d1, I have simply queen b3. And he's totally like exchange down. In fact, Vishy is winning another pawn. There is nothing to, play for here. You are simply exchange up, and Anand should have won like very easily. But look what happens next. Rook a1, he puts the rook behind the pawn. Arjun says, okay, at least I have a passer now. I can hope some perpetual. Vishy comes back. He's very solid. He brings his rook to a2. He's like, everything's defended. a6 comes, check, king here, another check. Queen has to block. And now suddenly plays rook a5. You have to play this, check, king here, check, and maybe queen g1. And somehow play this position. You are winning here after this rook a1. But he played this, and now rook a5. And this is a terrible move because d2, and Vishy had a complete brain fog here. a7 was important. And you could play d1 queen, a8 queen, and queen f1, trying to mate. But then I can sack my queen here if fg6, rook a7 leads to a mate. So king takes, check, king h6, check, and it's a draw here. But instead Anand plays queen d6, and now it's a simple way black to play and win. d1 queen takes, and check. This is something that Vishy missed under pressure. He had time, but somehow there was pressure and he lost this game to Arjun Erigaisi. And I was like, okay, this loss you can't recover from. You're on 2.5 out of 3. You are completely winning. You would have taken sole lead in the tournament. And now next round you are facing Hans Niemann here. So we go to this game where Vishy is up against Hans. And I felt like, okay, this one will be really tough for Vishy to survive. But he plays a simple, solid opening, e4, e5, brings his bishop out. And here, very important to note that you cannot really take this, and take this. It looks very promising. But the problem here, black to play. Yes, knight e4. And if you take the queen, I give you a check, king e2 and mate. So that's the reason why bishop g3 was played. Now knight e7, queen d2, king g7. And I loved how Vishy played this actually. f5. Takes. Hans tried to break in the center to get some activity here. But takes. And now bishop f5, just activating the bishop on this diagonal. Knight comes back to f6, controlling the e4 square. And black is totally better. Vishy managing to take here. I mean, he could have taken with the king, but this position is so bad after rook a e8. Black king looks safe. So Hans tries to create some play by giving up a pawn. But again, Anand, very pragmatic. Trades queens, trades rooks. That was a mistake because now black is just winning. He should have gone g4 here. But he played a5. Rook f2. And here is where I thought like Vishy will convert this. He took a pawn. Knight f4. Maybe the best try for Hans was to come in with his king and try to attack these pawns. But he went knight f4 and now Vishy should have taken this pawn. It's like, take it. But he was a bit afraid of what could happen, what could go wrong. And so he went rook d2 and now came d5. And already the position becomes wild. It was knight e6 and now Anand was in big trouble. He played check, king here. The main point here was if king g6, can you find the only defensive move for black? Yes, rook f6 check, takes and bishop h4, and somehow this position is still a draw, which is very tricky. I mean, one would think that this is totally losing if you are 2 pawns down, but you are winning back one of the pawns and it's a draw. So Hans took here because he couldn't assess that as a draw, and now Vishy was totally winning. He played this quite well. King g6. By the way, taking here, the pawn does not work because of h5. King back and just rook comes in and black is winning. So he went rook g8 and now tried to use his pawns here. And although white did have some chances with rook c8, knight e6 and trying to give a perpetual, Hans also had very little time and Vishy managed to convert this very well. He traded and this was a nice conversion. He brought his king up and he started pushing his pawns. Calmly played the move b2 and now rerouted the bishop and played bishop e5. The knight cannot move and Hans Niemann resigned here. So Vishy scored a win, and what was very impressive is his comeback. His comeback from this loss against Arjun. So he wins and then faces another tough opponent, Volodar Murzin, here in this tournament. And in this game, I think what I loved about Vishy is the positional chess that he shows in the Najdorf. Like, here is a youngster. He's the former world rapid champion. He's playing Sicilian. He's taking you on. And Vishy's like, okay, fine. I'll take you on as well. And it's all about this d5 square. He goes bishop g5. He wants to chop here. Queen e2. d1, b5. Trying to push. Goes a3. Calmly. Queen c6. Takes. plays knight d5. Takes. Now not to take here with the bishop, because then knight takes d5 and then c2 hangs. But rook d5. Good move. If knight d5 here, bishop d5. Queen c2 impossible, because I take and you lose a a8 rook. So he goes rook b8. Vishy comes back. c3. Rook e1. g3. Rook a1. Like crazy move. I think Vishy wants to just play a4 at some point. He realizes. I think his main point here of playing rook e1 was to somehow keep into control this d5 move. Also, if b4 is played here, take, and rook c2 or a4 is coming. He just wanted to make sure that e4 pawn is defended, and once that work is done, knight is moved, he goes back, because now he needs the e1 square for the knight. So bishop d5, and slowly the knight starts its maneuver. And now again, just trading and getting this good bishop versus bad bishop scenario. And okay, the game in its own is not flawless. Like g4 is something that Vishy could have avoided, but he sensed that his opponent has 15 seconds. I have 5 minutes. Look at how he's managing to keep an edge on the clock. It's also brilliant. And now I think Murzin could have defended this much better. Queen c8 here, he could have taken this pawn. Looks risky, but was good. And once this came in, again, Vishy had a great position, and here he even converted this very smoothly. You can't take on g3 because the queen is hanging, and now finds this move, rook g4, trades, plays his king to h2, rook f3, and these pawns are very strong here on the queen side, so starts pushing them, wins a pawn, trades, and here Murzin resigns. Vishy wins his second game, and after this he's leading the tournament here along with Nihal Sarin, which is absolutely incredible if you think about it. Look at this. Vishy Anand at the top with 4.5, along with Nihal. 4 points is Wesley, Arjun at 3.5, Prag on 3.5, Hans Niemann on 3.5, Vidit on 3, Wei 2, Aravindh 1, and Murzin on half. That just goes to show how good Vishy is. And really, hats off to this genius.